Welcome to the SND Podcast Show, episode 69. Dan, the Knicks are finally out.
Thank God. Honestly, it was only a matter of time. Either the Hawks or the Knicks were going to kick each other out. Unfortunately, of course, the Knicks are playing their best basketball right now, which doesn't count.
The Islanders went 3-0 to end the season.
Typical. It's if the Knicks did this in December and January and a little bit of February and a little bit of March, Knicks would have not had this problem. But
you forgot November, December, January.
Yeah, the whole season. The season was a cluster. Unfortunately, thank God this season.
Don't worry, Lamar Odom.
Yeah, let's sign Lamar Odom to a 2-year deal on the last day of the season.
20 minutes before the game starts.
Oh, he'll be arrested by the time no time.
Oh, him and J.R. Smith walking around New York City together?
Jesus. Oh man, it's gonna be rough. Anyway,
just with part of their money. Oh God.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
Don't worry, I saw on Instagram that David Wilson's back too. So.
All right, good for David Wilson.
So the three of them could hang out.
All right, good for him. Anyway, big show tonight.
Today's a
69.
special show tonight, and not because of episode 69.
Yes, of course, you potty heads. Obviously, we've been promoting autism awareness this whole entire month. As you can see from our profile pictures, our avatars, dedicating this month to autism.
And we have announced today that Dan and I have decided that for every view we get, there are, including last week, there will be 4 shows this month. For every view we get for the 4 shows, that includes iTunes, Droids, Podbean, YouTube, all of them combined. We will donate $2 for every view that we get to Autism Speaks.
So help us out by listening to our show.
Share our show.
If you feel extra ambitious on actually sending us money, it's not obligated, but just listen to the show. Kick back a couple dollars for us to send to this awesome charity.
If you have our personal PayPal accounts, you can send it to that. Or you can send it to where we're going to keep all of the money for the month, the SNDPODCAST at gmail.com PayPal account. Yes, so just send it to that. It's going to be a fun night. Baseball's basically in full swing.
Baseball is full swing.
See what I did that?
Yeah, I like that joke. Hockey playoffs are about to start.
SNDSportsblog.com. Kayla's articles are up.
And I'm sure Joe's going to be posting a couple articles as well.
Soon.
The Rangers preview article as well.
Yes, Dan, thank you for that.
Thanks again for Dan for that. Of course, we're also going to talk a little bit of Giant football.
Yes.
And a little Jet talk tonight.
In a couple of weeks, we're going to have our draft preview. Our Jets analyst from the sports blog will be Chris. He'll be joining us in a couple of weeks. His article will be coming out around the same time for the draft. Dan, I know you're working on the Giants preview.
I have a bunch of players that the Giants could go after in the first round. Hopefully it's one particular player, but if they don't go that route, I think there's 2 or 3 other players that they can go after as well. So.
And also look out for the next couple of days. The New York Islanders season review article from me. While you wait for that one, make sure to check out Andy's Islanders season review article on IslesInsight.com.
Of course, as always. And don't forget, the place to go for Rangers pre- and post-game stuff is Blue Line Station.
Yes.
Especially with the playoffs starting on Thursday night against the Flyers.
I know our Dan, who's working on the Ranger articles for us, I know he's going to try and get stuff out constantly with the playoffs as well, so make sure to look out for those.
Him and Danny, and I'm sure if AJ isn't busy with high school stuff, I'm sure he's going to kick back some articles as well. Yeah, as always, follow all of them on Twitter because they're great follows during Ranger games. So enjoy, sit back. We're going to preview a little NHL playoffs right now. Welcome back to the SND Podcast. You just listened to With a Vengeance. Tonight's show is episode 69, so figured With a Vengeance is one of our favorite songs from Division 1.1, so we figured with that. Tonight we're going to start off with a little playoff hockey. Big series for the New York Rangers. They play one of their big arch rivals, the Philadelphia Flyers. So it's the Broadway Blue Shirts versus the Broad Street Bullies. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. The Garden crowd's going to be amped up tomorrow night. I'm excited. I'm going to be there. It's going to be real fun. I can't wait. I've been to one other Ranger playoff game, and that atmosphere is beyond nuts. So it's going to be fun to see which Ranger team shows up, and are they going to be able to withstand the punches, be able to capitalize on the Flyers' penalty power play, because the Flyers are the most heavily penalized team in the league this year. So, which is nothing new because they are bullies.
They've always been that way.
They have always been that way since the 70s. Steve, what do you think this series is going to be about? Because I'll tell you a little bit of mine after you give me your intake.
7 games.
Okay, I can see that.
Hated 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
Low scoring.
Yep.
And we'll take everything out of the Rangers.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It's definitely going to be a 7-game series. It's just one of those series. This year's Rangers team is completely different. It's going to be really interesting to see how they are able to withstand the hits and everything like that. I expect St. Louis going to come out and huge in this series. He's just due to break out in a 5 or 6 goals in like X amount of games kind of hot streak. And it's going to be really interesting to see how AV's going to keep on filing out the lines and mixing and matching. The team has played really well the last couple of weeks, so it's really a matter of if those units are able to remain hot. With the Zuccarello being put on line, they've been firing on all cylinders. They've been contributing a lot more than a lot of people are expecting right now. So it's really going to come down to Henrik Lundqvist and finding those timely goals on the power play, because the Rangers are definitely going to get their fair share of the power play, as we mentioned. For some reason, the Flyers are magnets when it comes to the penalty box, whether it's self-promoted because of what their history is and what the players are known to do, or if they really do deserve it. It's just the whole Philadelphia aura of them needing to be that. So the Rangers got to keep their cool and find ways to stay out of the box as well, because you know it's going to get ugly.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to get ugly. It always gets ugly between these teams. There's going to be pushing. There's going to be shoving. They don't like each other.
And
they never did.
And big news out of Flyer camp is that Mason is not playing game 1, at least game 1. So Emery is starting, and he's a very shaky goalie. We all know that. He has his moments of being good, but he's really shaky. He's not as good as Mason.
And also, the thing with Emery is if there's pushing and shoving in front of him, he'll be a part of it.
So tomorrow night's going to be really fun, and the Rangers really need to capitalize on the advantage that they have tomorrow night, especially with Emery being the backup goalie and feisty as he is. You can easily get him out of his game. So it's really going to be interesting to see how Flyers are going to try to keep their composure and take it one step at a time. But I definitely see the Rangers winning tomorrow night. Obviously, if I'm there, I know I'm a big curse to all hockey teams around the area, so I apologize, Ranger fans, in advance. To all you Flyer fans, if the Rangers do lose, you're welcome. But it's really going to be fun. This series is going to be fun. This is what playoff hockey is all about. I know Dan from last week on Hockey Buzz did mention this is how it was when he was growing up in the 80s and everything like that. So it's a little different from us for not really noticing having this type of playoffs that set up. So it's going to be really interesting to have these teams go at it, especially since on how good these rivals are. So I'm nothing but excited. What other series are you excited for? I know right now the Columbus Blue Jackets Penguins game has been exciting. We've had that on throughout the whole podcast right now. So it's going to be really fun. I really changed my mind after really sitting down and looking at these playoff matches on how much I hated it last week that they were playing each other and not waiting for the later rounds. I really you get the playoff feeling go at the get-go, and I think you get the gooniness and the grittiness out of the way kind of early in the playoff rounds, and you're going to get more skill and more heart as this playoffs go around. So it's really going to be interesting to see. I think the Blue Jackets are going to have the shot to upset the Penguins. Of course, other than Bobrovsky, the Blue Jackets have a very gritty team this year, and not a lot of people expected them to be really good in the Metropolitan Division. So I think they're stupid enough to find a way and get confident and find a way to beat the Penguins. Obviously, the Penguins are one of a kind, one of the few awesome teams. They really did cruise control after Olympic break. They were the best team in the league until Olympic break. So it's going to be interesting. I would love to see Columbus win, but at the end of the day, obviously, would Pittsburgh surprise you? Obviously not, because they're a world-class team. But goaltending for Columbus is 100 times better than Fleury. So who knows? What do you think in that series? What excites you the most?
Like you said, Fleury is very important when it comes to that series. He will be the difference maker in that series. They did, however, bring back Vokun for the first time this year, who played decently in the playoffs. Yeah. Not great, but decently.
Well, the reason was he in the minors?
Yeah, he wasn't playing in the minors. He had hip surgery. So
gotcha. Okay.
The reason the Islanders didn't win that series last year
was better coaching. And
it wasn't coaching. It was goaltending. It wasn't even coaching because goaltending. Both teams had horrible goaltending.
Oh, yeah.
It just happened that Vokun ended up being better at the end.
Nabokov, yeah.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
And you know what? If the Islanders had better goaltending in the playoffs last year, bro, they were beating the Penguins.
Yeah.
And every analyst said it. All you have to do is throw your body around against the Penguins.
The Blue Jackets have done that, as you can see in me watching all the all the Columbus Ranger games this year. They were like flying nets this whole entire year, whether they were clean or not, and they were refreshing to watch. And they're a decent team, especially with Bobrovsky in net. They can find those timely goals which they have so far tonight. Obviously, we don't know who is going to win tonight since we're still recording at the moment. But regardless, they've played pretty well, and they've been fighting Pittsburgh tooth and nail, which we expected. So I'm very impressed with them so far.
The other series that I'm very excited about in the whole entire postseason is Chicago-St. Louis.
Yeah,
they hate each other as much as the Rangers and Flyers.
They hate each other, like you mentioned with that. That's another solid rivalry. It's really going to be interesting to see what Blackhawks have, especially with the injuries that Jonathan Toews has and what Patrick Kane has. So it's really going to be interesting what the Blackhawks have. I'm going to go with Blackhawks just because of experience, but don't be shocked at all. Obviously, it wouldn't be as upset if the Blues pull up the upset this year. You have Ryan Miller, which we all know, especially with a good team around them, could get really hot, as we saw with Team America 4 years ago. And he could make that team go, and that's what they needed. They have Oshie and they have Alt. Who else is on that awesome?
Backus. They have a pretty good young defensive core there. But the problem is they're doing it the wrong way.
They got to get a little bit more goal scoring,
and they're also going in on a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, that's going to be a little rough. But
if they didn't lose 6 games in a row, they'd be playing Minnesota in the first round.
Yeah,
which no offense to them, would have been a little easier than Chicago.
Oh, of course, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's just the best time of the year if you're a hockey fan, regardless of the teams. It's just when hockey fans come together, and it's just the best time of the year. There's no matter you'd have to have maybe missing a limb or have a heart attack or some sort to be not playing in these games. So every player that's on the ice during these playoffs are going to give everything they got, and it's going to bring back the beards with the playoff beards. So it's really going to be awesome to see. I'm very excited to watch nightly. Well, Western Conference fun. Which teams are you excited to see? I hope
besides Chicago and the Blues games, Kings and Sharks.
That's going to be a fun series. I have the Kings winning. It's will this be the year the Sharks finally make a nice playoff run? They're always awesome in the regular season, but the minute the playoffs start, it's like Cinderella. Their carriage turns to pumpkin at midnight for some reason. I never understand why. They do have an amazing team. It's really going to be interesting to see with the pieces around Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton. They're not the go-to guys anymore. They have Pavlowski and all their guys to be the focal point of the team. So it's really going to be interesting to see. Maybe those two main guys that have been on the teams and they've been like number 1 seeds and getting upset, they're not the main focal point this year. Maybe that helps them out. Who knows? I just like Jonathan Quick and the Kings team. They've been to the cup and they've tasted it. I think they're going to make a nice run to it.
Kings, I don't know. I don't think they're the same team that they were. Can they make a run? Of course they can. But I don't think they will make a run. I do see the Sharks coming out of that series.
Okay.
But the team that I find fascinating and is going to be a lot of fun to watch are the Ducks.
Yeah.
Because they kind of came out of nowhere this year.
They did come out of nowhere.
Well, they were good last year, but they like completely came out of nowhere when it comes to the playoffs. And seeding-wise?
Seating-wise, yeah, they absolutely came out of nowhere. It's especially the last run for Timo Solani. So anytime you get to watch Timo Solani, it might be the last time you see him, especially if it's a clinching game or a elimination game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how much he has left in the tank for this playoff run.
And they're not even going with Hiller. They announced today they're going with Anderson in goal. Anderson in goal.
They're playing with their hot hand right now, and
that's what they've been doing.
They're playing with their hot hand, and they're going to stick with it. It seems to be working so far. They wouldn't have been the number one seed if they didn't have trust in them.
I'll tell you what's really ugly though. This gold out thing they're doing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I understand teams are trying to get away from the whiteout in hockey because the home teams don't wear white.
Exactly.
But
imagine if they did a blackout.
That would be cool though.
Yeah, it would have been pretty cool. Considering that they do wear black jerseys. That would be pretty rad. But
that looks like a mustardy gold, and it's like an ugly.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh gold. Nothing new with that. And not a lot of people, as you can watch, where obviously you can't see. If you're watching the game last night, not everybody was wearing the jerseys. Not everybody's wearing the T-shirts. You see a couple of people flutter around with their white jerseys.
Oh yeah, there's always those people who like to stand out.
Yeah, but it would be pretty cool if it was a blackout instead. But whatever. You know that would never happen at Madison Square Garden. So I
wear whatever you want at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be rally towels like the last couple of years. So it's a different atmosphere. It's still going to be crazy.
It's playoff hockey. It doesn't matter what the fans wear. It's playoff hockey.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm so excited for tonight's game for the Rangers.
I'll tell you one thing with the Pittsburgh Columbus series that I'm very excited about. Seeing the Columbus home game.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's really
this is only the second time in franchise history they've made the
they deserve it. They do deserve it after seeing their team be in a rough state.
They weren't even in the NHL last time the Islanders won a playoff series.
Yeah, that's another joke. And I saw Jack Capuano is still going to be the coach for the Islanders.
Of course, he's still the coach.
That's awful. That's
as long as Gar Snow's in charge, Cappy's the coach.
They're just a joke of a team. I'm so happy. They're so bad. I'm happy we don't have to talk about them until another time. They're just as bad. They're so irrelevant. It's not even funny. So I don't know.
But still, look out for my article.
Oh, absolutely! Check out the article. It's gonna be fair and awesome.
Freaking worked hard on that thing.
Yeah, I hope. I know you did. I'm just stating the facts.
I also like to state that it's basically like each paragraph's a month. Okay. You know, like a little review of each month. So once it gets to February, it just kind of just says JT gets hurt, season over.
Yeah.
And then the articles.
Yes, the end.
That was easier that way.
Honestly, with the Islanders, how many times we're gonna have this quote unquote rebuilding model? It's been 21 years since they've not. It's been 21 years since they passed the first round of the playoff. You're able to drink. People are able to drink since the last time the Islanders have.
If you were born in '93.
If you're born in '93, they're able to drink.
You're old enough to drink.
Last time won a playoff series. It's awful. How does that even happen? How do you even let that happen? That's criminal. But that's beside the point. It's playoff hockey. And we're supposed to be enjoyable.
Think about this. I know that we're talking playoff hockey. But there's probably about a handful of people that have ever seen the Cubs win a World Series.
It was funny. Did you watch the Met game last night?
I think it was the Met game that they were talking about.
Met game. No one's alive for that because even if you were 100, was it 108? 106 years or something. If you're 107, you're 1 year old. So obviously you had no idea about it because there was no TVs about it. Just newspapers, and you're not going to be at Wrigley Field when they won the World Series. So no one was alive for the Cubs' last World Series win. So hey, at least you're not a Cubs fan, I guess, for the Islander fans that are Pinhead. Well, Pinhead has
He likes to lose, okay?
Yeah, he's...
Clearly.
Jeez. What's not... He's a Giant fan at least, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to laugh if he's a Jet fan. Jeez. Anyway, that's hockey. Enjoy your playoff hockey. Ranger fans, enjoy the playoffs. Islander fans, I guess you...
Enjoy the playoffs.
Enjoy the playoffs. You don't have to get...
Do what we do every year. Enjoy the playoffs.
At least we don't have any random stupid Islander Twitter tweets anytime soon.
I'm sure there's still plenty out there.
Yeah, something stupid. Can't
well,
wait.
Before we do go, congratulations Brock Nelson and Matt Donovan from the Islanders for making the Team USA World Championship team. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Congrats to them on that as well. It's really going to be interesting as we're talking young players. It's going to be interesting when Chris Kreider hopefully comes back for round 2. It's going to be really interesting to see with his wrist injury when he comes back. But that,
what the key is with that is he can actually make a difference if he does come back.
Oh, big time difference.
Because they're going to be exhausted from the Flyers, and we know that. No matter how many games it goes, they're going to be exhausted and hurt from the Flyers. If he can come back in even game 1 and just build that spark,
which he can do,
because he is, you can see a different. You may see them get out of that second round.
Oh, I could see it. I could easily see it. Anyway, next segment, we're going to talk a little bit
baseball.
Mets and Yankees both playing pretty solid right now. What a difference a week makes. So stay tuned, listen to more Division 1.1, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to episode 69 of the S&D Podcast Show. Once again, Dan and Steve are here. Don't forget, tonight is our Autism Awareness Show. Make sure to help us out. It's $2 for every view. From Dan and I, you can help us out. Send it to our personal PayPal accounts or the SNDPODCAST at gmail.com PayPal account. Choice is yours.
The choice is yours. It's better off just you listening to the show so we could put our own... Yeah, of course. But spread the word and we'll see how much we get to donate to this awesome cause. So we know a lot of people are affected by this awful disability. So it's definitely one of those things, especially when we were growing up as kids. There wasn't things like this. So kids today who do have these disabilities are actually looked upon differently and act like being able to be treated like normal people, which is great to see, especially since when growing up, a lot of people would make fun of these kids for being so quote unquote different. So it's really great to see these charities and these events all these walks for such a great cause. So once again, help us out with this wonderful cause, and we thank you guys in advance, and we know that you'd help us out. That being said, baseball is here, and it's here to stay till October. So, which way you want to go first? The Mets having a 6-3 West Coast road trip, mostly in the West Coast, and it could have been 7-3 if they didn't blow a save the Friday night. Hey, I'll take it. The Mets, they're a better team on the road, like we know. Like always. It's really going to be interesting. Why can't they win at Citi Field? This weekend they played the Braves, which we all know that's going to be a dandy of a series. As always.
It's also the 50th anniversary of Shea.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun 50th anniversary of Shea. If you don't have to do Easter obligations, unfortunately, like myself. Well, for the baseball meaning of that, for the unfortunately, of course. They're doing a sale of prices from 1964. Unfortunately, back in 1964, they didn't have the sales tax or anything like that, but it's still $10 tickets, so definitely take advantage of that if you're not busy this weekend or have an Easter to worry about. But I know Steve's going to a bunch of these games. You're going to Saturday and Sunday, right?
Saturday and Sunday.
So stop by, say hi to Steve if you see him, of course, as always. So Mets are playing well. Eric Young Jr. Playing really hot. Who else is playing hot? Kirk Neuenhuis. Last 2 games has been playing red hot as well. Pitching has been very superb. Just this whole series against Arizona, they got healthier. Other than losing Lagares for a week or 2, we know if it was a regular season, he might have been playing the last couple of days.
Yeah,
but he's young, so they don't want it more reoccurring any now and then. So it's just a hamstring injury. So he'll be back. Chris Young's coming back this weekend, so that's going to be good. Hopefully we get him clicking. He's been hitting really well in the minors, which I've been reading. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully Granderson feels better with the rib and wrist injury that he got on Monday night. Yeah, it was Monday night.
Yep.
So it's really amazing that...
So who gets dropped for Chris Young, though?
It's probably going to be Kirk, unfortunately. It's really going to be interesting to see who is that scapegoat. I saw that they brought up Dice K to be able to keep him. Because if they didn't have him up in the big club by a certain date, they would have to have gotten rid of him. So that was a smart move for the Mets to bring him up. Probably going to be the long man since they...
Unless Cologne can't go Saturday, then...
Which was supposed to maybe happen. So it's up in the air. Terry says he's going to be ready to go, but other reports say elsewise. So you never know. The Mets don't like to show their hand, which most teams don't. So... Would I be shocked either way? No, absolutely not. SK is ready to pitch for us. He's pitching pretty well for the 51s. So it's really going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Cologne, especially with the back stiffness. They said that was the blame for his poor performance the other night. So we'll see what happens with that. Who's your Met of the week?
Henry Mejia.
Yeah, he had a really good game last night.
He did. Besides the game in Atlanta, he's pitched three good games.
Yeah, he's pitched pretty well, other than the facing Justin Upton. Really look at it. Is that other than the Justin Upton hitting 2 home runs on him, he did a pretty solid job. So I can see that. He's earned some votes for that. I also gonna have to go with EY being able to get on base and scoring some runs and making plays in the outfield. He's pretty well. Kirk Newonice got called upon to come up. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in a couple days when they have a matchup that they got to figure out who to send back down. It's probably unfortunately going to be him, but you never know what's going to happen. How's the first base battle going on? It's
Duda. Duda
right
just
now.
keeps hitting.
Duda's just keep on hitting, and that's great to see. Ike's been pitch hitting. He hasn't been able to get on the field since Duda's been hitting, which is refreshing to see. I don't care who plays as long as they hit.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. Both quiet guys, good professionals on and off the field, more off the field. So whoever gets hits for us, that's who I care about the most right now.
That's the most important.
That's the most important. Zach Wheeler had a good start on Tuesday night. So Monday night, I apologize, got his first win of the year. So he's starting to come down. He's starting to come down a little bit. So calm down. So I'm excited to see him. What his next start's going to be about.
I am also excited. The other team that's playing in New York, of course, is the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees are being the Bronx Bombers right now. Can someone stop Carlos Beltran? He is on a hot streak.
He went on the DL.
Beltran?
Beltran's apparently on the DL.
No way.
I heard he got put on the DL.
No, not today.
Monday.
No.
Are you sure?
Positive. He hit a home run today.
Then why did
every other Yankee's on the DL today?
Well, blame my sister's boyfriend who told me Beltran was on the DL.
No, Beltran hit a home run today. Beltran is not on the DL.
Well, according to Google, he's still a Met, so...
No, it's not Beltran. It's everybody and their mother who is on the DL. I'm shocked Jeter's not on the DL. Quite frankly, it's Can is healthy.
He's also been playing first base, by the way.
Beltran, yeah, he played Sunday night against the Red Sox. First base because Savelli got hurt and
Teixeira's been hurt.
Teixeira's been hurt. So the Yankees are the walking wounded right now, and yeah. Beltran is the Yankee of the week, without guarantee. Last week, Pineda had another start. I wonder if he has pine tar on his hands still.
Then it just magically disappeared.
Magically. I do kind of find it funny that even though those affected the Red Sox, they didn't go about it because they knew the last year in the World Series they had the same situation. So I don't see nothing, so you can help out their own guys later in the year, I guess, kind of thing. It was pretty funny. The Yankees play the Rays this week. They go to Yankee Stadium South on this weekend.
Oh, joy.
So it's going to be a fun matchup. The Rays are a scrappy team. I like Joe Madden. So it's really going to be interesting if the Yankees are going to be able to hit their solid pitching and make sure Evan Lagora doesn't hurt him, and all the other players and Will Meyer. It's going to be a good series. The Yankees and Rays always come out and play a good series. And the Yankees did take 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 against the Red Sox. So it would be a big start to the Yankee season if they found a way to take another series against the division leader. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that as well.
I'm as well looking into that. Looking forward to it, of course. It's actually a 4-game series, and then they go to Boston.
So it's the Yankees could get the healthy dose of winning in the division if they can pull out both series wins. Even if they split in the Tampa series, they already have 3 out of 4 against the Boston. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Yankees could get healthy again, continue playing as good as they've been playing. It's very good. They could set the pace really early in the season with the division play on being able to capitalize these wins early in the season. I know there's a long way to go, but every game is important. Every 162 games are important, especially when they're playing especially when you're playing the division. So honestly, it's really going to be interesting to see which Yankee ball club comes and shows up. It's really about the pitching. Tanaka played amazing on Wednesday night. He had 10 strikeouts, one of the under 100 pitchers. That's just ridiculous. And he is a stud. And it's going to be really interesting, like we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. It's really going to be, we're just waiting for him to become the ace of the Yankees. It's just a matter of time. And the quote-unquote, got to earn your pinstripe kind of thing. You know, by May and June, he will be the ace of the team. And everybody will know that. So Yankees got to keep it up. Joe Girardi's been doing well. I know the big criticism with Joe Girardi, he overmanages the bullpen. Of course, right now with the injury to Robertson, it's been a committee right now with the save situations. So it's really going to be interesting to see how the Yankees respond, especially in Tampa. Tampa do give the Yankees some fits, but the Yankees just as much as play well against them as well. So it's going to be a fun series. Does David Price pitch this week? Well, I'm sure David Price.
Sabathia versus Price, Thursday.
Thursday night. So, Thursday night, there you go. There's your marquee matchup if CC is on his game, which he is due for. Other than that, the Mets play the Braves this weekend at Citi Field, which we already mentioned. Who else do the Mets play in this homestand?
They also play, I don't think it's Miami. It is St. Louis. Oh, St. Louis and Miami.
So it's Miami and St. Louis.
St. Louis, then Miami. Braves, Cardinals, Marlins.
Okay, so I see the Marlins next week again.
Never get a day off.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the next Sunday I'm going, and they play the Marlins then, huh?
Yeah, which is Autism Awareness Day at the Met game next Sunday.
Ironically.
So make sure to check that out, and make sure to share our show so you can make sure we get the views so we can donate money and help out as well. And don't forget to help out yourself, anything you can do. I know a lot of like bagel stores and stuff have donation boxes for autism all year round. Help out. It's a great cause.
Of course.
But right now, why don't you go listen to a little more Division 1.1, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to the S&D Podcast Show, episode 69, also our Autism Awareness Show.
Yep.
Today was fun.
It was fun. It was a quick show. We're ready for the playoffs. I know every Ranger fan is around. The town is excited. Tomorrow's going to be electric. So, tonight, while everybody listens, everybody's going to know it's going to be electric. I know my girlfriend's not going to have a voice tomorrow, Friday morning. It's going to be fun and worth it. It's going to be jam-packed as well. Be sure to check out SNDPODCAST.com up with all the up-to-date articles that we have pertaining to the NHL playoffs. Also with the baseball right now. I'm going to have a Giants article with the draft the next couple of weeks. Speaking of the Giants have signed Josh Freeman to be the backup quarterback so far this season. I like the move just in case Eli's not ready or he has a little shaky ankle injury. Granted, Eli is the most durable quarterback in the league since he's entered the league, so I'm not worried with him being ready for opening day, but you never know. He is better than Curtis Painter, so if ever that God forbid moment, our season's not going to be a tank. So I like the pickup with Josh Freeman. He is a capable starting quarterback, as we all know. Unfortunately, Greg Schiano felt differently, and he didn't really get a fair shake in Minnesota. We all know that Monday Night Football game against the Giants. He was on the team matter of 2 days, and he started. There's no way you're gonna know a playbook in 2 days, especially in the crappy. That was a rainy night, right? You were at the game.
No, that was a nice night.
Was it a nice night?
That was a nice night.
Okay. I don't know. Remember, it was windy.
No, it was fine.
It was fine.
Nice.
He just sucked.
He just sucked.
All right, fair enough. He did.
Played for the Vikings.
Yeah, and he only had 2 days to prep. So
I remember.
Take that.
The only thing I really remember from that is the fact that I was playing Tommy in fantasy football, and he had Peterson.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, no way, I'm gonna win this game. And next thing you know, the Giants stopped them.
I know it was the first win of the year, so that's the most important thing. Looking back at it, I'm very happy with the Giants' off season. I really am. I'm really upset that unfortunately Justin Tuck's not on the team, as you read in my article. But the moves we made, I like the signings that we have in the secondary and the offensive line right now. So stay tuned for my draft preview. We have a bunch of holes around the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Right.
So,
and also don't forget to look out for Chris's draft preview also.
Speaking of, I'm sure hopefully Chris has a nice article coming up real soon. Maybe about the Jets, what they're going to do with the draft, especially getting DJ 2K. Maybe they don't need to get that running back that they wanted, especially with how solid Chris Ivory is at running back. So you're going to have the Chris's this season with Chris Johnson. He ironically is the most durable running back in the league. Not a lot of people realize that, and that's a scary thought. So the Jets are going to be a little bit more versatile this year, and that's coming from an offense that needs that boost. It's going to be really interesting to see where the Jets go. Maybe they go for another wide receiver in the draft, which is a very deep draft for wide receivers.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to which way the Jets go.
You know what you got to realize about the wide receiver parts of NFL drafts? You can get a guy late in the draft, and
of course,
you just never know.
Of course. So it's going to be interesting to see where the Jets go with that. There's obviously a few more holes on the offensive side of things, but the Jets are trying this season on to improve the offensive side, and I think they've done a solid job right now. And I think Eric Decker is a very good, solid, and capable wide receiver. As you can see, he got 1,000 yards with Tim Tebow. That's all I need to say with that. So if you can get a lot of yards with Tim Tebow, he should have no problem with Geno Smith. And we all know his stats were buffered with Peyton the last couple of years. But you know he's solid when he gets that amount of yards for Tim Tebow. That's all I got to say. So I like that move regardless. He is a stud, and I like him a lot, Eric Decker. So
right.
See what happens with that. The Jets defense, maybe a couple of parts here and there, but for the most part,
their secondary scares me still.
Yeah, they just need to pick a restack in secondary right now.
Well, every guy they brought in ended up signing with the Giants.
Yeah, Cromartie. So Rogers Cromartie. I'm sorry, I had to say his whole name because they did get rid of Cromartie, who went to Arizona. So that being said, I hope everybody enjoys their playoff hockey and basketball. The Nets are going to be most likely playing the Chicago Bulls in that series. So Brooklyn fans and basketball fans in the tri-state area, be on the lookout for that series. I'm not really confident. The Nets are playing. They've had their ups and downs the last week. Knicks took care of them on Tuesday night, which was kind of all right. Thanks, Knicks, for showing up too little, too late, kind of thing for the last couple of weeks. So with that being said, enjoy the playoffs for both NBA and NHL. Enjoy your Mets and Yankees, and we will see you next week. Don't forget to check out the SNDPODCAST.com. And once again, don't forget to help us out with the Autism.
Yes, share our show.
Share our show.
Donate money if you want to.
Every person that listens to the show, you put $2 down for a donation for that. And if you want to put in your own money, you can send it to SNDPodcast@gmail through PayPal or one of our personal PayPals if you know it. Once again, we thank you guys in advance. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.
Good night, guys.